Well, hello and welcome to our September Purple Chair Chat. My name is Larissa Whitney, and I'm the Education and Prevention Specialist here at Jana's Campaign. September is Campus Safety Awareness Month. And so our intention during this Purple Chair Chat is to raise awareness about the safety concerns, preventative measures, and services available to support a safe return to campus. By the end of this chat, you'll know where to access resources if you or a friend need them. Purple Chair Chats are live conversations instilling knowledge, skills, and values necessary to prevent gender and relationship violence. We use these discussions to raise awareness, engage bystanders, and promote healthy and respectful relationships, and of course, encourage the development of new social norms. So before we get started, let's make sure this is a space where we're all feeling safe, respected, and comfortable participating. A disclaimer that we will be discussing some sensitive topics regarding violence, and it may be activating. So please do whatever you need to take care of yourself. And in light of the recent news, I find today's Purple Chair Chat particularly heavy. So let's take a moment of silence to reflect on the actions we can take to create change within our communities regarding safety. We will link resources in the comments for youth and adults that help provide education and safe spaces. And today I'm thrilled to introduce you to Jennifer Brockman. She's connected to Jana's campaign through our summits, including presentations at Heartland and Rocky Mountain Campus Safety Summits. Jen is the director of the Kansas University Sexual Assault Prevention Education Center. You might hear it referenced as SAPEC. Brockman has worked since 2001 in the field of victim advocacy and prevention in 3 different states: Arkansas, Iowa, and Kansas, at community programs, flagship institutes, and state coalitions. She and Dr. Mary Wyatt Hebert at the University of Arkansas created the What Were You Wearing installation in 2013. And by the way, congratulations. This received a NOVA award on its 10-year anniversary. It has since become a staple for many colleges and communities in raising awareness of sexual assault. We will link in the chat more history on that program. SAPEC is a partner in hosting the Heartland Campus Safety Summit. And this November will be our 3rd year at KU and the 12th year of the summit. We collaborate with Jen beyond her presentations at the summit, including collaboration like this Purple Chair Chat. So without further ado, Jen, thank you again for sharing this space with us today, and welcome.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here, and even on the heels of so many difficult news stories that just continue to reiterate the importance of the work that we're doing and the conversations that we're having, both with our students and with our community. So we are going to talk a little bit in like 7 minutes. So hang on, folks. This is going to be 10 pounds of information in a 5-pound bag for sure about what it looks like to dip your toe into or evaluate prevention work on your college campuses. And the good news is tons of opportunities. So many different ways to customize and meet the needs of your community. This isn't just a one-size-fits-all kind of space. And I love that we're having it earlier on in the beginning of the year, though this is commonly referred to as the red zone. So where we know statistically we see increased rates of experience of sexual violence in these first 8 to 12 weeks of the college year for many risk factors that we know are in place. So I love the ability to expand that prevention and education work beyond April, so beyond Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so it becomes a cultural shift and not just a conversation that is specific and limited. So as we're thinking about this red zone and those those risk and protective factors. So we know that college campuses and our undergraduate students in particular have this, what we might think about as a perfect storm of risk factors. So we have age, we have we have access availability. So proximity is the greatest predictor of violent crime. And when we have students in transient population, so new to a community, our community that is passing and time limited for their engagement in that community. And then we have increase changes to social culture and social access, increase access to and prevalence of drugs and alcohol, increased rates of peer coercion supporting behavior. So think about that idea of, if I'm going to go get a tattoo, everyone's going to come with me to do it. So peers who are more engaged in collective decision making, which can make bystander intervention more challenging, as well as that sense of immunity that comes from an age demographic that doesn't have their frontal lobes fully developed. So we have lots of spaces that are coercing in this moment that allow us a wonderful opportunity to do intervention, and as well, such an important need to do so. So when we look at primary prevention, and that's the focus of SAPEC here at the University of Kansas, that primary prevention is really focusing on changing attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs before harm occurs. So folks who are coming to this work from the community health perspective, you'll recognize those terms of primary, secondary, and tertiary. So primary prevention meaning addressing harm before it happens, secondary, that acute immediate response to harm, and then tertiary, what do we do after harm has occurred to decrease the recidivism or decrease the continuation of harm for folks who've experienced that. So working in that focus area, we talk a lot about that primary. And if you are a big fan of the Stop SB toolkit, as most of us are from the CDC, we know we have this great opportunity to use those areas provided in that toolkit. And so we talk about how do we program in ways that promote social norms, so changing our social culture to encourage people to behave in a way that is expected and supportive. We talk about how do we teach skills to prevent sexual violence and intimate partner violence, so that educational piece that is needed. We know that providing opportunities for empowerment and support for women, girls, and femmes is extremely important in changing that cultural shift and conversation. We know that creating protective environments is a key element. So what does that policies, procedures, and practices look like from an environmental space, as well as what about our environment in general? How do we make our environment, the world around us, be a partner in prevention and not just the space we move through? And then that last piece, or that tertiary piece, is that supporting victims and survivors to lessen that harm, to provide those supportive measures after harm has occurred, to really show up with wraparound and connected care. So look at all of this space. There's so many ways that you and your campus and community can dive into these areas. When we look at SAPEC, some of the areas that we have poured most of our time and talent and treasure into building out are those spaces such as promoting social norms. And we do that work through bystander intervention approaches. So we use evidence-based bystander research that informs our program, Jayhawks Give a Flock, because we love a good pun. And that has allowed us over the last 5 years to create it's required for all incoming students, all first-year undergraduate students on the Lawrence campus, and allowed us then to create what is the largest evidence-based bystander training in higher education that occurs in a limited time period. So we do this in a day. And so we just wrapped up our Jayhawks Give a Flock this past year, or for this year. We have makeup sessions, but our main session, and that was about 40, I see the numbers on my wall now, 4,800 students that went through that, and took about 250 volunteers, 8-hour periods, multiple sessions. And we make sure that we do those small classroom sessions. So really trying to do that adult learning theory and keep those as personal conversations. And so that's a big element in creating an expectation that it is a Jayhawk value to be an active bystander and not what would be a one-off expectation of an individual. So that's helping to create some of those cultural shifts. We also look at a project we're really excited about, which is that creating protective environments. So in partnership with KDHE, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, and 3 other sites across Kansas, one of them being Jana's campaign, we are doing an environmental design or violence prevention through environmental design. So how do we build those protective factors in communities based on environmental changes that could help reduce the risk of harm and increase protective environmental buy-in. So we've got lots of opportunities that you can do. So what I love about using the toolkit is you're able to customize and define what works for you. And a good jumping off point that we found for so many partners, as was mentioned across not just the US, but the globe, is the What Were You Wearing Survivor art installation. So we've got links to access this open source free program where we have built out the entire toolkit, everything that you need, including curation guides, learning outcomes, assessment questions. It's all folded into this package because we know that that universal question of what were you wearing deserves a community response, and our ability to create a visual experience and to center the community's response to take the power away from the question. So we would love the chance for folks to bring that to their campus if they haven't already, or get support and resources if you want to build it out and make it bigger and better. But we love this opportunity and cannot wait to see all the great work that's happening around the state in collaboration, especially with Jana's campaign.
Thank you. I'm writing notes.
Oh, sorry, a little fast talking there, but yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic. I guess a question I have is, if our audience is in need of resources or services, specific to their campus, what would you suggest?
So one of the places to start is, as you mentioned, what does that look like at home, right? What is already being offered on our campus? And so since 2011, with the Dear Colleague letter from the Obama administration, and then changes that have happened subsequently with federal Title IX regulations, is we know now that our campuses are required to meet certain elements and to provide support structures for survivors. So being able to access your Title IX office is going to be a starting point. And if that doesn't feel like a comfortable or safe space for you to do so, what are those confidential, community-based, or even institutional advocacy programs that you can reach out to? So spaces like the Kansas Coalition has resource maps for the entire state where you can look to specifically to find out what is your local domestic violence shelter or rape crisis center that can be that contact point for you. And if that doesn't feel like a space that you know where to start, RAINN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, so RAINN, RAINN.org, also has mapping throughout the country, and their hotline will do a direct connect to the closest rape crisis center to the cell phone number, the phone number that you were dialing from. And so using those resources to track down what is best for you. And if talking on the phone does not feel good, because we know that's not everybody's like jam, they also have text and chat-based options as well. So we hope that resources are fully available on every single campus. KU itself has our Title IX office, and then we have confidential care services, which is an institutional-based advocacy. But we know that's not the experience for all institutions. So building out those networks from those systems that are already set up there to try to connect you would be my best recommendation.
Absolutely. Well, if there's any other questions from our audience and you're not sure, have concerns about something that's going on in your area, just reach out to us and we will do our best to put you in contact with the right people. And thank you so much, Jen, for joining us for the Purple Chair Chat. I know our audience was able to learn something today. I absolutely did. I have a couple pages of notes and we appreciate you sharing your expertise. And yeah, thanks again.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you at our next Purple Chair Chat. Thanks, everyone.